Paradox.
Alright guys, it's Jahlon with the Paradox Gaming Network, and today we're going to be doing an Ashes crash course on the economy and Ashes of Creation. Now obviously this won't be every single answer you want, but it's going to answer the stuff people keep asking. First of all, is there going to be player-to-player trading? And the answer is yes. Intrepid wants to make sure that the players can trade among themselves. And this is going to be important because some parts of the world won't be developed enough to have player stalls or player shops or an auction house. And on the topic of auction houses, people always ask, is the auction house global? And the answer is no. Auction houses are regional. There certainly will be auction houses in the game, but they are based around where the economic nodes are. So if your parent node is an economic node, then there's going to be some auction house capability for that vassal chain. If your regional metropolis is an economic node, then your region will have an auction house. The trick here is there's no automatic delivery of purchases. So if you purchase a sword down in node 42, you still have to travel to node 42 to pick up that sword. If you buy all the iron ore in your auction house, you have to travel to each and every node to get your iron ore, and then you're going to have to transport it to wherever you need it. Next up, we got the question people ask, how am I going to earn money? So where's the income going to come from? And we are not going to have magical coin generators. And what I mean by that is when I go out to farm and I come across some wolves and I start killing them, as they die, they are not going to drop gold coins. So this means after an hour, I'm not going to have accumulated, just basically a big old bag of gold coins from grinding on wolves. Instead, what happens is when I kill that wolf, it drops a pelt. And the more wolves I kill, the more pelts I accumulate. Now, sometimes you hear Steven refer to these as certificates. And what I want to make sure everybody understands is certificates, when used in reference to mobs, is he's referring to teeth, bone, hides, pelts, antlers. Some of those things will only be obtainable through the skinning profession. We don't know which ones. But for right now, when we're talking about certificates, we're talking about the things that the mobs drop. So what do I do with all those skins that I ended up with? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them to the Hunter's Lodge. That's the only way I can get cash, the only way I can get paid. Well, here's the thing. There's a Hunter's Lodge merchant, and he offers me 1 gold coin for my pile of pelts. And I really don't like this price because my guildmate, who told me about the value of these, he got 2 gold coins. So why the difference in price? The difference in price comes from the saturation of the local economy. That Hunter's Lodge already has more gray wolf pelts than it knows what to do with. So as the quantity turned in goes up, the profit per goes down. Well, I decide that's not enough. I invested too much time killing all those wolves. So I'm going to take my pelts and I'm going to look for a different market. So as I'm looking at the map and I know I'm up here in the north and there's lots of gray wolves up here, that's why they're so saturated. I talk to somebody and they tell me about the merchant down in the south of the continent. There are no gray wolves, but that Hunter's Lodge buys gray wolf pelts and he's paying 2 gold bars. So what I decide is, yep, we're going to load up the old caravan. We're going to head south. We're going to get paid. Well, here's the thing with that. That decision is a meaningful activity. This isn't just going out and mindlessly grinding. What it is it's creating some risk versus reward. Remember, a big shipment has to go on a caravan, and caravans are content. Next up, we want to talk about combating inflation. And people know that inflation is the rise in the cost of goods and services. And if you've played any MMO before, you know that the major cause of inflation in the MMO is that it's the continued availability of currency with nothing to spend it on. Big game for this is EVE Online. There is belt rats out in nullsec that you can spend an hour and make a ton of in-game currency. But if you don't have anything to spend it on, now you're just sitting on currency. And if everybody is sitting on currency, prices are going to go up. What we have is Most games at launch, we have artisans making weapons, and at launch, this sword costs 5 gold. The reason why it costs 5 gold is simple. Nobody has any gold. Nobody can spend more than 5 on it because that's all they really have is disposable income. As the game goes on, that same sword is going to later cost 50 gold because everyone's going to have a bunch of gold. Everybody wants more gold for the work they do. The gatherer wants more, the processor wants more, the crafter wants more because nobody has things to spend it on. One of the ways that we are going to have keep inflation in check is giving people stuff to spend it on, and that's through item destructibility. So caravans, parts of the caravan are destroyed when the caravan itself is destroyed. Some parts can be salvaged, some can be replaced. So what this means is that when your caravan gets hit, maybe you get 2 of the 4 wheels back. Maybe you get 1 of the axles back. You have to put gold back into your caravan, your personal caravan, to be able to do your next shipment. Siege weapons is another one. What you're going to have is you're going to have to be constructed for each siege. This is a gold sink, and gold sinks are good for the health of games because this means that the artisans that make siege weapons are going to need the processors to make them things, which means they're going to need the gatherers to get them the raw materials. We also have housing, freeholds, and node buildings. Obviously, when we first build a freehold, we're going to have to invest materials in it. When we first build node buildings, the constructible plots, we're going to have to invest materials. These can be damaged or even destroyed during sieges, and it's going to take resources to rebuild them. So Intrepid is already building into the game gold sinks, material sinks to keep people busy, and that way the economy stays healthy. We also have taxes. And taxes, you got taxes for the mayor, taxes for the king. You've got taxes for everyone. Big thing about the taxes, there are node taxes. This is going to be on the property tax that you pay to maintain your property, and taxes on sales and transactions, on crafts, on repairs, on when you're selling things that you make. Keep in mind, the mayors cannot touch the money. All of the tax money in the node must go to the node development. So this is good because it takes the gold out of the system and it locks it into a different system. So while that node development, building walls and gates and doing improvements is great for game development, it locks the gold into another system. You're also going to have taxes that are paid up the vassal chain. So you're going to get taxed by your node, but your parent node is going to take a part of those taxes and their parent node is going to take a part of those taxes. When we have the full details, I will break down the tax chain. You're also going to have regional taxes to the local monarch. Now, a portion of the taxes in the system becomes the property of the monarch. These are transported to the castle via caravan, so these create meaningful content. It's going to be a payday. Someone keeps joking, when I have my castle, they're going to be Robin Hood stealing my tax wagons. I do want to point out that the monarchs can remove a portion of the taxes to their own pocket because they're going to be doing a lot of things in the region. So this is the only place where a little bit of that gold comes back out of that gold sink, but it's only a portion. It's not all of it. We also have regional boundaries. People ask me how the regional boundaries are going to affect the economy. Well, first of all, everyone always says nobody's going to siege. And I don't know where people are getting the mentality people aren't going to node siege. So what I did is I laid out the green and the white regions. And what you have is on your regional border, in the white region, you have a metropolis. And in the green region, that king along this border, he's unhappy because this metropolis's zone of influence can overlap a castle region. And a castle region is also an economic region. Those are used interchangeably. But the Green King is upset because a portion of the taxes from his nodes are going into the other king's pocket. Remember, castle regions are fixed and static. They don't change. But zones of influence, they don't abide by castle regions. This is important because say you're in that freehold at the top of the map and you're moving goods back and forth. Okay? This is where we're going to see this. When this caravan gets attacked and gets destroyed, it doesn't drop the pelts on the road, what it does is it drops certificates. You're still going to have to go back to the point of origin that caravan was launched from. You're going to have to talk to the caravan master. You're going to get the resources now in the point of origin, and you're going to have to transport them yourself. So what happens if I launched my caravan from my freehold instead of from a node? And not only that, but I'm trying to go down here. I'm trying to go cross economic region. Well, what happens is I almost get to the gate of the city and I get destroyed. Well, again, it's not going to drop the loot on the road. What it's going to do is it's going to drop those certificates. I loaded the caravan up at my freehold. You're just going to go to the local economic center. You're going to know where to go. You don't come to my freehold to claim them. You're going to go, and then again, you're going to own those pelts in another region. You're going to have to move them into your region or move them wherever you want them. You can't just automatically transport them as the loot. And that is it for today, guys. I wanted to make sure to do a quick overview crash course on the economy. Not that I don't love answering the same questions on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays when I stream, but I feel the community needs to get a little bit smartened up on the economy so that they can ask better questions. If you got questions about the economy, check out ashes101.com. There's some stuff there. If ashes101.com isn't answering your question very well, let me know. I will robust up those sections. If you're brand new to Ashes of Creation, if this is your first video on the subject, welcome to the community. If you haven't registered yet, there's a registration link down below. I'd greatly appreciate it if you use my referral link. It shows Intrepid I'm still reaching new people, and I do get a kickback. If you have any questions about Ashes of Creation, I am Jahlon, #0001 on Discord, or leave a question, comment, concern in the comments below, and I will get that answered. Until next time, guys, bring me your questions, and I will see you when I'm live on Twitch. What are you still doing here? Nobody ever stays this long. This is the end screen. Well, since you're here, there's a couple other videos I think you should check out. And all those names, those are my patrons over at Patreon. I couldn't do this without them. So, big thanks to them for all their support.